to do a bit of review, the pop icon sort of stuff, not pop music, but pop apologetics that comes our way. I was talking to a pastor friend of mine who's reflecting on his 20 years. This is last night. I was chatting with him, reflecting on his 20 years as a pastor and what were some of the apologetics challenges that came his way, particularly with his congregation. Like, how did he wish his congregation were equipped, and what were some of the big things and the lies out there? And of course, Dawkins came up. Not something that he found challenging himself, but he said his congregants found it a bit challenging. So let's have a listen to Dickie D, Richard Dawkins, Dick Dawk, and I'll put a bit of extra volume on here so we can hear him, and then we'll just chat. And we've got a few others to go through as well, but not many.
When you say faith is rational and evidence-based, I mean, if that were true, it wouldn't need to be faith, would it? I mean, if there were evidence for it, why would you need to call it faith? You'd say just evidence. And when you said that faith in relativity, in Einstein's theory of relativity, is evidence-based, that of course it is. But the evidence is all important. I mean, Einstein's predictions fit in with observed fact and with a whole body of theory, whereas we only need to use the word faith when there isn't any evidence.
I presume you've got faith in your wife. Is there any evidence for that? On
Yes,
which you
plenty.
base it? Yes.
Plenty of evidence.
So, are they just fighting over words?
Look, they are, I think, and I think Dawkins commits a fallacy by claiming that evidence is absolute.
Okay.
And if we have video footage of somebody identified, not through AI manipulation, but identified going to a place, pulling out a gun and shooting someone,
Sure.
He leaves behind his wallet, and there is a evidence that his
some trail.
DNA fingerprints are on the person's body.
Yep.
We stack up evidence, and it becomes harder and harder to find alternative explanations for that accumulative evidence.
To be something other than
the obvious conclusion, which is X killed Y and is guilty for it, and therefore must pay the price.
Sure.
But many things are an accumulation of evidence, and evidence points to a verdict. Our entire legal system is based on the accumulation of valid evidence and evidence that is solid.
Goes
evidence
beyond
that
hearsay.
is evidence that is questionable and has some degree of validity or not. So Dick's got to be pretty careful when it comes to proclaiming there's evidence, for example, that light is a wave and a particle. There's evidence both ways, but it can't be both because rationality doesn't require it to be both. So we've got to be careful.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, his split, though, is in his particular definition of faith. He has placed faith into a non-evidentiary belief. And I've heard other atheists say, I don't need faith because I have confidence in the evidence. And of course, a good apologist actually pulled that apart and realized, what the etymology of confidence is confide.
Of course.
With faith.
Yeah.
With faith.
You believe believe with others.
Everything has faith. You have faith that works. You have faith that doesn't work. You have faith that when the lights go red, the cars will stop on the other side. No, they don't always do that. It goes against, common practice and evidence. But the idea is to say that faith, I think the minimalizing of the atheist objectors to say that faith, I think they want to colonize the term. And I think they've effectively done it to a lot of people in the last, half of the 20th century. They've redefined faith to be this non-evidentiary belief. But humans, by nature, are faith-seeking, belief-oriented people. We act based on what makes sense to us, or what we want, or what we need, or what we believe will give us what we want.
Well, he has faith in the human capacity to intellectually rationalize things.
Well, yes, that's right.
He has faith in...
He wouldn't call it faith, though.
Process. Well, he doesn't have another word. He has confidence, which carries faith with it. He has trust, which is ultimately going to be a reliance on an individual's intentions.
Yeah.
So that if they're going to act, they will act in your favor, or they will act in such a way as benevolent towards you. And you will believe that. Mountaineers have faith in one another.
Yes, they do.
Mountaineers have evidence from
trust.
past evidence that the last ridge they nearly fell off. They were tied to the other mountaineer, and it held them. They've got faith in the integrity of the rope that holds them together. Yeah. They've tested it, they've tried it, but they've got no absolute guarantee that it will.
Well, there's never a guarantee in those senses, is there?
So there are degrees of faith. Exactly.
It's a reasonable belief. It's based on reason.
So I do also it depends on what you've got to lose when you have faith in something. You can have faith, faith in the cosmos.
Actually, so what are the stakes?
Faith in the cosmos, or whatever. It's not going to really affect your day-to-day life.
That's right.
But Blondin, the famous high-wire trapeze artist who came from France, and was in Canada, had a wire that was strung across the Niagara Falls, and he could walk across with a balancing pole, and then he asked the crowd that was on the ground, who believes that I could wheel a man across the Niagara Falls in a wheelbarrow because I have that balance? And they said, yes, of course you can.
Will you do it?
Then the question is, who's going to get into the wheelbarrow? And now suddenly the chorus shrunk. And you can imagine, some intrepid individual did, because there was a bet attached to it that he could do it or couldn't do it. And ultimately, Blondin was taking the man across, and the individual who was about to lose a lot of money decided to wiggle the rope, and the man inside the wheelbarrow began to get nervous and adjust. And Blondin said to him, Monsieur, if you stay absolutely still, I can compensate for this chap. But if you get out, I cannot compensate for both of you.
Yes.
And we will plunge to our deaths. Now, that's faith in action.
You've got to go with the professional at that point, don't you? And in our case, that's God, the creator. In these instances here, I just like how Lennox unpacked that word slightly differently and brought it home. And after a while, some of these debates are a bit gotcha-ish. And
you're looking for gotcha moments.
Yeah. Oh, he so-and-so smashes so-and-so, or so-and-so demolishes so-and-so, or
overwhelmingly was
caught in another hitch trap, that sort of thing. All right, well, let's try our second video and see where we go. And
so there's different types of faith, and I think Dick got it wrong. He demonstrates a lot more faith in the mechanisms that he trusts and believes in, and dismisses other mechanisms that he doesn't trust and believe in.
Of course.
But both are statements of faith.
Well, you have to put your trust and faith in something. And I think, going back to what you said before, the stakes make the difference.
Exactly. The stakes bring the actual, the nuts and bolts where the rubber hits the road, puts flesh on the issue of the bones of just believing in something. You would need to recognize what you lose. Who's got faith in the stock market? I'm just saying, chaps. Who's got faith in Bitcoin? Who's got faith in investments? All of them are, to some degree, they are trusts and beliefs, but they are backed with evidence, which seems to change from day to day. Have you got faith in your government? That you elected them?
I've got faith in them to do certain things, but not to do what I want.
Well,
because
let's say we are all people of faith.
My expectation?
Let's be honest. We are all people of faith. We all believe and trust various things with varying degrees of success. And if we can't accept that, then we're dishonest.
I think you're right.
And his argument about that if you have evidence, you don't need faith.
That's silly.
Well, you have to believe the evidence is credible.
So again,
which is credible, which is believable, which is faith.
Yeah. Well, that's right, and he's trying to recolonize that.
Yes.
That word. All right. Well, let's move on to another one.